continue.
Okay. So, Warapon, do you want to say anything?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back again for May meditation, online meditation. So I'm happy to see you all again. So let's start today with Prajan. He will teach us with the new technique. Hopefully.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. It's early morning, and I hope you're all having a wonderful sunshines, enjoying the weather. After 1 week of rain and a storm here in Aberdeen, today apparently going to be a little bit of a sunshine. And we are going to have interfaith a mindful day here at the center today, with about 10 people from different faiths coming to speak and reflect on nature. So different subjects like skies, wind, earth, sun, mountain, and nature, and like that. So 2 hours of that is going to be in the afternoon. Right, and this time I felt it's been a long time. Somehow I don't know why. Before last year, I felt like so quick that we're coming back again and again, so fast. But this time, even though it's the same time scale, but I felt so long time. I don't know why. And does anybody feel like that? And I think that's simply because the mindset. It's up to our mindset that how our mind plays. And if you like it and if you're enjoying it, time flies so quick that we do not realize it. And in the meantime, when you are so much busy and constantly working with that, and then where is my time? The time is gone. And that's all because the mindset that we have. Actually, time is always 24/7 days. And never been long and never been short. It's all in the mind, they say. So practice of a mindfulness meditation is, that's why it's about watching our own mind, what's happening in our mind. Sometimes like we play a lot of work in our mind and think of a lot about certain things, and then constantly thinking and planning, so on, and worrying about things, what is going to be, what I'm going to do, and so on. And with that, often it creates trouble to us, isn't it? That's why even the Buddha said, mind is the forerunner. So it's always on the front. When we meditate, we may have seen, or you may have seen as well, that mind is like a filmmaker. Do you agree? Making films of this stories and that stories, and then we can put so many let's call architects on it as well. So many players in it as well. They put, and then so many, and a decoration we can add it as well. So that's why our mind is basically the filmmaker, always making films from out of one story to another. And when we like it, then we will be enjoying and making stories. If you could write on one particular things every day, you would be writing hundreds of pages of a day, making a film out of that thoughts. So much fascinating, but quite funny thing though. The moment when you start writing, it just fades away. It just fades away. But when you are just thinking about it, it can make so beautiful stories. Imagination, it just comes. And there is a saying that we normally do not see the scenes in photographic details, but instead make a reference based on the fact that we are given. So that's why it's quite interesting to know how our mind works. And on the basis of that, um, we normally do not see the world as it is, but as we are, what we want it to be. If you remember, or you may have seen, the science says that our eyes sees things complete opposite way, but we perceive it in this way, as we see. So like similar way, the perception always different. And here, on that perception, normally what happens is that we uh, develop our feelings and emotions, like, let's say, A representing the situation itself, like the view, like the sceneries, like the situation that you are in. And then whenever we see that, there will be a B, like is the interpretation, okay? Interpretation over those the views, or over that scenes or that person. And a C is our reaction. We make a choice. If you remember, I was telling about making a choice, is the meditation. Sorry. And normally, what happens is that when we are in general life, we see A and C. So that's a seeing object, and then our reaction to it. We normally skip the B. Okay, B, that's interpretation and given the thoughts about it. So with that, I will let you to have a short, maybe 5-10 minutes. Just sit down and then watch your thoughts, which one you are in ABC, without saying anything, okay? Okay, let's start. Close your eyes and then see. So making sure that you are trying to look at this ABC. A is the situation itself. B is interpretation and the reaction. Whichever situation you are in, normally you will realize that we see that situation clearly and constantly reacting. It's very difficult to, or even not seeing that part which we are interpretation or interpreting that situation or the scene. So that's why in daily life we see A and C, but very rarely we see this B. So as you hear the gong, you may open your eyes. Okay, so this practice helps us to understand that how much our mind plays part in our life, and then how much we're thinking about things. Normally, as I said, we are engaging in just the two, A and C, rather than in a B. And the practice of meditation is to find out this B, and that actually is the creating the perceptions about things that we are going through, and the way we interpret, um, the way we interpret the whole world, that makes a huge difference to how we react. So we normally see the object and then our reaction, but we do not see this interpretation. And as a result of that, whole our reaction to that always will be different. Uh, so practice of a meditation is to see that interpretation. How are we interpreting one object to another? Uh, and that helps us to understand. Like we have cows now in our field behind the temple. Yeah? And this cow, I remember, quite funny though. One of our members came, and then he saw this big bull, uh, very fat and a very mature bull, and he said, "Oh, delicious!" uh, in front of me, and then say, "No, it's so kind, so nice." And then same bull, look at the same, uh, like in India, if you see a cow will be respected. In Nepal, cow is forbidden to kill. If you kill, then you will be persecuted. Yeah, there is a law that you wanna harm, you can't kill a cow. So in India and in Nepal and Hindus, they pay respect to a cow. And then similarly, and if you look at the Islam, they eat cow, and then the killing can be very horrible, torturing and killing, right? And then meanwhile, the same cow, people will be thinking that, oh, this is my delicious food. Uh, so like that. So one perception about one thing that changes a whole lots of stories in our life. The moment when we change our perception to the things that we are perceiving, yeah? And so that is like the whole moment, like we are writing like a new thing. And there is a saying said that the moment you change your perception is the moment you what's called rewrite the chemistry of your body. Do you agree with that? That when you have a perception, different perception about certain things, and that changes the whole chemistry in your body. Now here it is basically talking about mind has got something to do with the body, right? And then body also has something to do with the mind as well. When we feel very sad, immediately the chemical changes takes place in our body, right? When you see something frightening, or if you have a phobia of something, immediately the whole body shakes, whole body frozen. So there is mind has got effect to your body. And similar way, when you have, let's say, not when you are not well, or some pains is there, and then again automatically that affects to our mind. And this all based on perception that we have towards the things. Phobia is also a part of something that makes you scared, and that's again after you have seen and after you have interpreted, after you have talked about it and interpreted, and then a whole chemistry in our body simply changes. So that's why this all in our mind. So when we able to read our mind, it helps us to recognize that our thoughts creates the future. Yeah? Our thoughts creates the future. And that future is again because we react to the thoughts that we are having, reaction to it. So that's why when we are practicing a meditation, all what we are doing is reading this mind, knowing this mind, seeing this mind, that how it is working, how it is thinking, how it is perceiving things. And these all the perception that we are having, that is changing the whole reaction that we are making towards it. Making towards it. And that's why I call it making a choice. The last C, reaction, is your choice to make it happiness or to make it sadness. No one can make you happy, no one can make you sad. It's all your choice, your reaction, right? And that's again based on what you have seen and what you have interpreted. The object that you are seeing, you cannot change. The sound that you are hearing, you cannot change. That's outer influence. But whenever we see things, whenever we hear things, that very moment, all the reaction that we are making, that is our perception towards that object. And that shapes our mindset, that shapes our thoughts. And every reaction that we are making basically changes the whole world, our future, happiness or sadness. Right? It's up to us. Normally, people will be thinking that, oh, when I open my eyes, I see the objects. When I hear the sounds, this uh, it's called five senses, right? All five senses are observing the objects from outside, right? It's observing outside objects. And then on the basis of that, we normally think that our mind doesn't receive anything. Actually, our mind also part of an organ that receives the thoughts. And those thoughts again combine, created or conditioned by all five senses. And then when we meditate, the more calmer you becomes. It's like a waves, radio waves. And just the waves in the background, just making a noise. And we will be able to, those noise, the whole wave of this sound that somebody or the station is sending us. And that's just the wave. And it's up to us that how good we are to catch those waves. And that's how we will be hearing it. So that's the radio station is sending the signals, and this radio device, we are tuning in which tune you want to have. And then once you have tuned in, the moment you tuned into that wave coming, then you will hear, oh, this is happening. Same with our mind too. All what we need is to carefully listen that, okay, what's happening? How am I interpreting to this object? How am I interpreting and how am I observing this? How am I receiving it? Right? So that's why here, whenever things happens, whenever the thoughts arises, whenever this interpretation takes place in that moment, rather than reacting and engaging it, all what we do is observe, this is happening. Observation. Observation. Do you think you can observe thoughts? Whenever you observe thoughts, you will be crazy. why I am having this thought so much. I don't want these thoughts to come. I want peace. I want calm. Right? Like that. And this is, again, the more we fight with it, it's become stronger and stronger. Yeah. So all what we in the practice of a meditation doing is to receive it. Okay, this is happening. The sound has come, the thoughts has come, and we are observing. Yeah? We're simply observing that this is happening. We're not going along with that, engaging and interpreting and, oh, this is that, that's it, that, no, like that. So that's why the moment when we have a right attitude to these contact A, B, and C, that moment, our frame of our mind will be changed. So we will have a right frame of mind. That everything that I am perceiving is creating the thoughts, and that is creating my future. And again, having said that, do not think that my mind is the trouble, my thoughts is the troublemaker. Do not be in a feel of disturbed by those thinking mind. And also, we are not, practice of a meditation is not about preventing or not having those thoughts. It's not the practice of a prevention of having a thoughts that normally people think. Practice of a meditation is to free of thoughts. Practicing of meditation is to empty my mind, no thoughts like that. That's not, but rather it is to recognize that I am having this thought and acknowledging this thinking whenever it arises. Do you think you can do that? Recognizing that thought whenever we are thinking, and then acknowledging that thinking whenever it is arising. So here in a Buddhist term, it's called Upadhi, Dhiti, and Bhanga. So Upadhi means arising, then maintaining, and fading away. Ability to recognize that thought. And with this, what happens? We will be able to make peace with it. But rather than stopping it, we will be able to make peace with it. And then gradually we will be able to understand that these thoughts are basically condition created. Coming back to the a situation or a scene or objects. Because of that, we are interpreting. As it comes to contact with our eyes, nose, tongue, ear, body, and then we are making stories out of it. Okay, and now again today I would like you to contemplate a little bit in a few questions, right? Sitting and quietly closing your eyes, and then asking yourself that what is going through my mind. What sensations are there in my body when you are having those thoughts? And what emotional reactions and impulses you're having? Okay, so I hit the gong and then ask a question as you meditate. So in this case, we will start off a breathing meditation, and then gradually we will ask these questions. So sitting comfortably, and as you hear the gong, I will lead you. So bring your mind to the moment here and now. leaving all your responsibilities aside, and having a present moment awareness, aware of your body sitting here and now, feeling sensations in your body. And observing breath, incoming and outgoing breath, or rising, falling of abdomen. Spend some times on a breath, breathing in, breathing out, rising, falling. And asking these mindful questions. What's going through your mind? What sensations are there in your body? And are you aware of any emotional reactions? And this practice is basically is to be mindful of wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whenever. Simply mindfully aware of whatever happening in your mind. even when you are perceiving the breath. What is your mental state? What are you having those thoughts? What's going on in your mind? What's going on in your body? What is your reaction? Try to recognize your perception to the things, whether it's even the thoughts, how you perceive, and how you interpret that thoughts. And every reaction that you are making towards that thoughts is the result of how we perceive, and that also creates the future. So we're trying to recognize that perception, that interpretation, Our thoughts are like clouds on the sky, sometimes dark, sometimes stormy, sometimes smooth and blue sky. So our thoughts plays different forms. And these thoughts just comes and go. So we simply receiving it and observing as they are. We're not trying to prevent or stopping having a thoughts, but observing them objectively. Our thoughts are normally consuming us. A practice of a meditation is just to step away from that thought process, receiving and observing more and more until we can see that thought clearly. And we see that thoughts are so tiny rather than that overwhelmed early on. And realize that this is the thoughts, not me, or I am not my thoughts. I'm simply the silent witness, watching that thought, knowing that thought. And every time whenever you feel that you are lost, see what's happening in your body. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever is happening, being mindful. Watching, seeing, knowing. So this knowing is called knowing as they truly are. Yatha Bhuta Jnana Dassana in the Buddhist term. Knowing things as they truly are. All the thoughts are like the clouds that comes and goes. Okay, so as you hear gong, come out from your practice. Okay, so now this is time for the sharing and a question answer. If anyone has got anything to ask, please do so. You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
But maybe this time I share.
Okay.
Yes. First of all, it's very messy. and things moving from one to the others, which sometimes totally non-correlated. It's really pops up everything, and sometimes the subject even changes unconsciously. So I just realized, oh, this is a different story. It's flowing. It's very messy, and I think it's. I was just also thinking at the beginning. I thought I understood the difference between thought and mind, but actually, probably this is something which I just come up with myself. That's okay. Thinking or thought is somehow something, and then the mind is where all this thing is being processed, and is reflected through emotion and things like this, is as an output. Maybe I just keep thinking about these things in my mind. Yes, even I said it unconsciously. I'm thinking in my mind, and then so yeah, this is what happened the whole time. And sometimes I didn't recognize that, okay, the subject changes already in my head. But also recently, I'm not too sure if it's because of meditation, because at the last, let's say, several months, when I went to bed, the very first 5 minutes before I fell asleep, I'm not too sure. When I think about something, the picture appears so clearly, scarily clearly. Sometimes I see faces, random face, very clearly, like I'm watching like this. And then I thought, oh, this is very freaky. So I thought, okay, I don't want to see this face. So just wake up. In contrary to what I heard from a lot of people, when you do the meditation, you will be able to even see picture clearly. And I did try to come to that mode because I want to experience it again during the meditation, but it never happened. It's very weird what's going on, actually. I didn't take any drug or anything. So yes, this is just my personal experience. It's a bit, I'm not too sure if it's a phenomenon of practicing, but this kind of effect happens, yeah, randomly. I'm not too sure.
Okay. It's possibly because of the meditation, the mind becomes more sharper and sharper. You become more mindful of it. Then that helps to see it clearly. And that's similar to the thoughts as well. The more we become mindful, be able to see the thoughts clearly. That's why sometimes people say that before meditation, I was so happy that I never get angry. But after I meditate, why I am become more angrier? And then that basically, before meditation, they never see that anger, but after meditation, they see it. So that seeing it doesn't mean that's so much, and there is just increasing of it, but actually seeing is in a way helping to decrease it. You will not be reacting to it. You will not be making it more. You will be recognizing it and then reducing it by seeing it. So that's happened as well. There's just more knowing what's going on in your mind and what's going on surrounding. And you become more receptive to it. And that's why the number C is ABC. C is the choice now you're making.
So that's what happened.
Yeah, it happens. Okay. Anybody else? Just unmute and say, yeah, Janine.
So I had a very strange experience. So I worked a lot these last weeks, and sometimes I was, when I was meditating, I was continuing to work. But anyway, I tried to be disciplined. And so this all finished in the beginning of the week, and there was some kind of baby blues where you get sad because you were so exhausted. And at that moment there were a lot of bad news coming in the week, so I was it was a rocky week, and I felt like I was 15 again. My whole body was reacting to that. I was feeling really like my breath, my chest was burning, and I had back aches and everything. And so I don't know if I was in B or C. Probably I was always switching between the two of them. And so I meditated quite a lot to find some kind of balance and distance for that. So when the last bad news came, I was already a little bit distanced, like, well, the week continues. And yesterday when I was meditating, it was in the evening, and I was very tired, and I had such a strange feeling. I was meditating, and I was not, maybe I was too tired for so many thoughts. So I was just observing the reactions in my body. And I had this impression like I was a tiny person inside of myself. Like when you go to bed and you look if the windows are closed and the lights are all switched off. So there was a little bit of aching in my knee, and my mind went to my knee for a moment. And then there was some itching in the neck, and then it went to the neck for a moment. And I was like walking inside of me, checking all these pieces of my body. It was so pleasant. And it was not really like, maybe it was still thinking, but it was more like, very distant from everything.
That is really good, actually. That is really good, because in the practice, initial practice is to quieten our mind and gain the strength in the meditation. And after a certain period of practice, once we gain this concentration, we call samadhi, and then we are simply contemplating in our body fashion, body sensation, body parts. And that's gradually understanding our own self and appreciating ourselves through that how beautiful and how wonderful it is. So keep doing. Very good. Very good. So your mind is with your body and with your mind. You're disconnecting from the world. It's very good.
I'm not sure if I already mastered that. I think it just came to me, but I will try to keep on going.
Don't worry about being a master. Being a student is the best.
That's what I thought the whole week. I'm not so close to my body normally, and it was really painful, but I thought this is a really good lesson. Just take it where it is.
Yeah, good. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes? Anyone? Daniela?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Sorry, we were late this morning. I wanted to apologize for that.
No worries.
Just like to share what was going on in my mind as I meditate. So I noticed that most of the thoughts that I have as I meditate are of negative nature. So they tend to be negative, in fact. So they are, not nice. And the more, the closer in your memory is a negative event, the more you are focusing on that thoughts as you meditate. So there is also a timing aspect there. And then I was questioning myself, why are these negative memories for me? And it always goes down to two main aspects. One is they're negative because I have different expectations of what something should have been, but it wasn't, or it isn't. Or because I'm merely focusing on myself. So it's like something negative that occurred to me, and because it occurred to me, it is more negative than something else. So it has, I am attached to that because it's related to me directly. And then the challenge is, how do I get out of that? And then I look for tricks how to go out, and I noticed that. So I go back to what you said about the your body. So if you try to react differently with your body, you might influence your thoughts as well. So what I try to do is I meditate. I try to smile. So eyes closed, and I smile. And I sometimes notice that by just doing that, by just smiling, then negative thoughts tend to be replaced with appreciation of something else. And then you turn negatives into positives. And that has empowering effect. So yes, you're still thinking as you meditate, but your thoughts are good thoughts. Therefore, they release some of the pressure. And so that's what I found working for me, even if it is a continuous challenge, because you impose yourself. Okay, try to smile, bring back positive, and let negative go. Yeah. So, and then the risk of that, it goes too much mental, so too much thinking process. Okay, so you need to really be really careful and try to keep it positive but natural at the same time. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Yeah, so very complicated, but I see progress.
Okay, good. So in general, I think I have mentioned so many times as well that in general, our mind has got two modes. One is thinking of a positive and another one is thinking of a negative. And then you don't need to be apologize yourself that you are thinking negative much of the time. I think 99% of people are thinking on that process. Spend more time on a negative.
Yes.
That's why I call it things that you have and you want to let go, but you are not letting it go. That is the negative thoughts that you having. And then that's also there is an Indian saying that which wolf will win, and the wolf that you feed. So a negative thoughts, we are feeding it, even though we dislike it, we are constantly feeding it. So that thought will become more prominent. Yeah? And here, a practice of a meditation that you describe, disconnecting or distracting yourself to something else, is good for the initial time, right? But for a longer time is not good. So practice of a mindfulness meditation is to know this mind itself that I am having this negative thought, watching it. And as we watch it gradually, we will see that these negative thoughts are arising, as you have rightly explained, because not happening what you want it to be. Yeah? Your expectation is not fulfilled. And as a result of that, you are having those negative thoughts. So that's why early on I mentioned that if you have a right attitude to the things, the whole process will change. Everything will change. And also escaping from this negative thought and putting something positive, or I need to be positive. It's like creating a dam. So you're blocking this negative thought more and more and more. The more you create this dam bigger and bigger, the water concentrates more and more, and it's just waiting for the volcano to come and just blast and everything will collapse. And that's, you are thinking of a positive by creating a dam. Now you're accumulating more negativities and concentrating this more negativities, and there is possibility to have cracks and breaks at any time. and that will be disastrous. So that's a practice of a mindfulness meditation is not about substituting one to another, but about knowing it as they truly are. Okay? Watching it, okay, negative thought, okay, this is negative thought. Do not move away. Okay, this is negative thought. And when you are having this negative thought, what are the sensations? What are the emotions that you're having? That impulses that you're having. So you're aware of that. And gradually what happens is that as you're aware of that impulse and the emotions that are related to it, gradually subsides, gradually diminish, and able to understand that these are not me. These are simply created phenomena. And with that, later on, these thoughts will appear, but it will not affect us. It will not affect our way of thinking. That's why it's called a right attitude. And with that, we are not creating a dam. We are working with this negative, and then these negatives will basically goes off. And we will be able to see where this is coming from, where this is conditioning to be, and we will be able to work with that condition. But having said that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be shouldn't be expectation in your life. You should have. But meanwhile, there is a gap. There is always possible of mistakes. In physics, they say high probability. They do not say that it's definite. High probability of a success. That means there is a small bit of a gap, that there is always failure. So with that, then we will be able to deal with those emotions and those negative thoughts. But remember, whichever thought you play more, that becomes the wolf that you are feeding. And that will cause harm to yourself. So rather than feeding it, okay, observing this is happening, right? That's it. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, good. Good. Practice makes you understand these different subtle things. Become aware of that and ability to deal with that. Yeah. Okay.
I have a question because I am discussing with a friend of mine about how we deal with somebody has done us wrong and hurt us very deeply, but the person is gone and the thing has happened. And so now we are just staying with the mess. And he says we have to forgive. And maybe there's no recipe for all of us. Maybe everybody has to find it for himself in a degree. But I think that if we try to forgive that person completely, I mean, I can understand, and I can even how do I say, feel with that person, that why he did that. But anyway, I think people have to take a little bit of responsibility for their acts. And so there is something, he calls it anger. And I think maybe it's anger, but it's some kind of, well, take responsibilities for your act. And if you don't act rightful, then I don't want to have to do with you anymore. And so we are discussing this because I have the impression if I forgive, then there is this kind of positivity that I just put on top of it. So, maybe it's not, if I am the victim, maybe I'm not the person who has to forgive. I don't have to do one more work, I think. So we are struggling and discussing this all the time.
Okay. There was a story was a very angry man came to the Buddha. And Buddha was sitting and he shouted and shouted and shouted and bombarded with all the nasty words. And the Buddha was silently listening. And you know, when somebody is shouting at you and if you do not respond, they will be run out of words. And so this man ran out of the words and then say, I have been shouting and shouting at you. Why you're just looking at me? Aren't you angry at me? So he asked the Buddha. And the Buddha said, man, gentlemen, suppose there is a guest comes to your house and you prepare all the food, delicious food for him. And then he refused to take it. What would you do? What a silly question. If he doesn't eat, if he doesn't take, that belongs to me. Simple. And the Buddha said, that is so, gentlemen. Whatever you have said, I don't want it. Take with you. So, if you may remember, I've been saying that no one can make me angry without my permission. Anger is ours, reaction to something that happens. That person is not wrong. That person is not nasty. If that person is nasty and wrong, he should be nasty and wrong to all and at all the time. Yeah? That's just our reaction to whatever he said, whatever he has done. And our displeasure to that, dislike to that, causes a trouble. And who dislikes? Not him. That's his nature. He's saying what he thinks. He's doing what he thinks is right. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's good. You should be doing this. You should be doing it that way. We are adding our expectation to that person to be what I think they should be doing. And that makes us a trouble. That makes us unhappy. That makes us angry. Yeah. So that's why who gave this anger? We gave this anger to ourselves. And in terms of the forgiveness, who do you think we should forgive? So, and in the case that you, Janine, you have said, that person is no longer nearby.
Yeah.
That person doesn't know at all that you're angry. And that person doesn't know that you dislike. And further on, if that person's intention is to make you angry, and having seen that you are angry, then that person must be enjoying and celebrating the success that, yes, my job is done. I managed to make this person angry. So he will be having a toast, yeah, celebrating.
Yeah, but
So,
aren't there limits? Aren't there
sorry?
limits? Aren't there limits where you say this is not some question of interpretation? The person just didn't do this time a job as a good human being.
You can tell them that what you are doing is not right. What you are saying is not right, but the angry is the case. Anger is simply you are upsetting yourself. You are harming yourself. When you are saying that something is done right and not rightly, then you can tell them with kindly to change them. And that kindness doesn't mean just a word. Even you may have to take some actions, but that action is kindly taken.
Okay,
As
this
a
is
lesson.
where I have to work.
As a lesson that he or she should learn from what he or she has done. So like that. So anger is always generated in us, not in others. And that's we have to change our perception that I am angry because that person. Actually, no, I am angry because I dislike. I did not receive what I needed. Okay? So that's our expectation. We put ourselves at front, and that's how we get angry. So that's why anger is nothing to do with other person, other situation. It's our reaction to that is the anger.
Thank you.
Maybe if it helps on that, I remember something I saw in our last meditation where we were really together in Vevey, when we joined together physically for the last time, I think. There was one of these phrases on the wall, which was really impactful for me, and it was about anger. Being angry to someone is like drinking poison yourself, hoping the other person dies, which is going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I would like to add something on that, because I've been working a lot on the forgiveness, because I've through my education, and I was like the mirror of my family, so I was carrying some resentment that were not mine, and I had to work a lot on the forgiveness, because I was aware that it was really hurting myself. And it was not my responsibility. It doesn't mean that you are forgetting what the person has done. It means that you are freeing yourself from the hurting that this action or this person has done. It's not an easy one, but it was really freeing for me. I felt really free. I'm still working a lot on that, but today I can say that I'm not as resentful as I used to be. And I have really learned that forgiveness is really a powerful tool, a powerful gift that we have and that we do to ourselves in the end. We are freeing ourselves, and we are freeing as well the other person. And sometimes I understood as well that most of the times we share responsibilities. So not only the other person, he's totally and completely guilty of something, but I was playing my part as well. So all this work helped me to take as well my own responsibility on that. Sometimes things changes as well, and also with this person, these people that have hurt us. But I think that is really a mechanism that put people in a kind of union instead of separation that we are living today, even more than in other times. And we are not feeling the kind of separation anymore.
Yeah, okay, so that's really good. I normally look at these two words, forgiving and forgetting. In English word, we become upset and we become very unhappy because someone has done something wrong. And we know that we have to forgive. And the word forgive is already saying that it is for giving, not for keeping. For giving. The more you keep it, what happens? It makes you heavier, upset, difficulty. That's why word itself, language itself is saying, it is for giving, it's not for keeping. Yeah, do not keep it. Yeah? And further on, the second word is forgetting. After you have forgiven, you have to forget. So once you forget, you will get something, you see? The moment when you forgive, you will get. What you're going to get? Happiness, freedom, release. Isn't that the language itself is saying? Forgiving is to forgive. It's not to keep. And when we forgive, we get peace and happiness. And obviously, it is not easy job. It takes a lot of time. And gradually, as we learn to forgive and forget, gradually we understand furthermore that how lifting it is, how lighter we become. All the resentment just goes off. And further on, what we need to remember is that we can't ask others to smile. We can't ask others to smile. But we don't need anyone to tell us to smile. So we can't expect others to be kind. We can't expect others to be nice. We can't expect others to forgive us or do good things to us. Yeah? But we can smile. We can be nice. We can be kind. It's our property. It's our job. Yeah? This is with us we can do. So that is the main theme here, what we are practicing. We are changing our own self, the way we look at things, the way we perceive things. And everything is based on our reactions, how we react to the things, the situation. So that's why this part of the practice of a meditation is to recognizing that and getting freedom from it. Very good. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, we practice. Okay. So further on, as we have come to realize that everything that's happening is basically a cause of making us to have a stress and depression and trouble in our mind, and that's all because of these unskillful thoughts. We call it unskillful thought. We don't call it a negative thoughts. Unskillful thought. Do you know what does mean? Unskillful and negative thought. Unskillful thought means we have reacted to those situations unskillfully. That's why that becomes the negative thoughts that causes us the trouble. And we normally say whenever something happens, they say, "Oh, I can't stand this anymore." And then we will have a thought of, "Oh, something has to be changed here." And that something has to be changed because I want it to be in this way. Because I want it to be in this way. And then there will be other thoughts. I want to get away from everybody, everything. I am fed up with this, like that. And then it goes on with like thoughts of why I can't switch off my mind from those things. Why those are bothering me? Like somebody will go far, far away, like maybe another city or maybe another country, run away, and still mind is bothering about those situations and those incidences, and then why I can't switch it off. So it's not about running away, it's about dealing where it happens. There was a moment when the Buddha was traveling and people were very angry, and wherever in this city where the Buddha was, people were shouting and telling him off to go away. Like here in Aberdeen, like when I came first time 10 years ago, there are people like saying, "Oh, this is not belongs to your country. Go back your country," like that. Like that, it was saying to the Buddha at that time, and then a Buddha's attendants, Ananda told the Buddha, "Lord, shall we move to another city where they respect us?" And the Buddha asked back to Ananda, saying, "What if people will be nasty at you in that city too?" Ananda said, "We will move to another city." So never ending moving from one to another city. So then the Buddha said, this will never end. You have to solve where it is. And then again, this like a thought of this, I wish this disappears. These things that disappear from my life, like that. And these are, again, is simply the negative thought. And then further on, not only we are looking at that, and then we again blame to ourselves too. We are very good at blaming ourselves. There's something wrong with me. Okay, there's something wrong with me. And here in the practice of a meditation, again, you may have noticed, I've been saying that it's our responsibility. And again, sometimes we take it as a negative sense, negative connotation as well. Something wrong with me. Okay? So here, something wrong with me, and mindfully aware of that this is my responsibility, is two different things. When you say something wrong with me, you are taking it negatively. But when you are mindfully aware of this, that this is my responsibility, then you are releasing from it. Okay? So these, whatever unskillful thoughts are there, reactions are there, all what we are doing is to be mindful. Yeah, to be mindful. Now remember, when we got the flu, we will have a high temperature. So high temperature is a symptom for the flu. Similarly, those thoughts that we are having, those thoughts, I can't stand this anymore, something is wrong here, I can't switch off my mind, that is a symptom for our stress, anxiety, depression, mental troubles, and a feeling of so down. That's why we have to remember that don't believe everything what we think. Okay, and then the medicine for this stress and depression, or this sadness and all this resentment, you don't have a pills. Wish I can produce a pill for that so I can sell it and it can be a millionaire. Unfortunately, no one can make that pill. But the weapon, the greatest weapon is that, again, for the against of this stress and depression, is our ability to choose one thought over another. Ability to be mindful of that thought. What's happening, how it is taking place. Some of you may have come across with the Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher. You know Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu? He said, watch your thoughts. Watch your thoughts, they will become words. Watch your words, they will become your actions. Watch your actions, they will become your habits. Watch your habits, they will become your character. And watch your character, do you know what will happen? It becomes your destiny. It becomes your destiny. So all what we are doing is to practicing watching this thought. And this thought defines what we will be, how we perceive it. And a practice of a meditation is simply to notice that, the watching of it, and understanding it. How am I having these thoughts? And you can start off with watching that thought and how we react to the thoughts, those thoughts. And eventually we will be able to master of it. Doesn't mean preventing having any thoughts, but we will be able to be mindful of that thought again and again. So with this, let's practice meditation, okay? Unless anyone has got anything to share or ask, then
I just one last thing quickly. For what you were saying, I got really two great teachings lately. One was from an author that I like a lot. She's Esther Hicks, and during one of her seminars, she said, life can be heaven or can be hell. It's your own choice. And this is was really powerful for me. And it's really true. It's always a matter of perception. And another one was from a person, a friend, that got a few weeks ago, she had a serious diagnosis she had a serious health problem. And one of the things that she said to me was, the first thing that I asked myself was, what is the lesson behind? What can I learn from this? So she was not angry at all. She was looking for how she could learn and she could evolve from this situation. And this was really, really great teaching for me.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Right, okay, so I think it's time for the last practice to finish off, okay? Thank you, everyone. Okay, let's practice. So bring your attention to the moment here and now. Aware of the body, sitting, relaxing. And spend some time on a breath. Incoming breath, outgoing breath, rising, falling. So settling down, grounding yourself. So breathing in, breathing out, rising, falling. And watching the thoughts. What's going on? What's going through my mind? What am I perceiving? What's my attitude? Now we'll practice the loving kindness meditation. So relax yourself and bring your attention to be mindful of your body, aware of the sensations in your body. Whatever sensations around in your body, be mindful. And bring that attention to your hands, aware of sensations in your hands, and to your heart. Feeling the beating heart. If you can't feel the beating heart, physically smiling will connect you. So smile and feel the connection with your heart. And as you feel the connection with your heart, generating loving kindness and compassion to yourself. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be at peace. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from hurtfulness, hatred, calamities, ill will, animosity. May I be liberated, liberated. And similarly, sharing loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings, whatever beings there are, visible and invisible beings. May they be happy, may they be at peace, may they be free from suffering. May they be free from hatred, ill will, animosity, hurtfulness, troubles of a body and mind. May they be liberated. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be free from suffering. And bring your attention to your hands, a weight of sensations in your hands. And to your body. And as you hear the gong slowly coming out from meditation, and reflect for a few moments. Okay, so thank you everyone. Wish you all have a good weekend. Take care, and we'll see you next month. Whereupon we'll send you information. So bless you all.
Thank you.
Very much,
Thank
Kapaja.
you.
Thank
Take care,
you.
everyone.
It's very good.
Thank you everyone.